Okay, so right now, though, we're going to talk about a little bit of what's going on with Bitcoin. Today, it's at 51,083 as the this podcast is going. The volume in the last 24 hours has been about 87 billion. That's huge.
So the market cap right now is still over $1 trillion, right?
Yeah, it's 2.
2 trillion?
Well, it's 2 billion, right?
No, I'm talking about the total market cap.
Oh,
right
the
now.
market cap.
Yeah, total market cap is still over $1 trillion, which we haven't seen that since the bull run of 2021.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, Ethereum is going on a little bit of a rampage the last few days. It's at 29.4253 as this podcast takes off. At the end of the day, all that doesn't matter, and we're going to turn this over to Bret, and he's going to tell us why it doesn't matter.
why? What doesn't matter?
The price.
Oh, well, it simply doesn't matter because if you want to be a daily trader, then you take your chances.
Yeah,
But
I always wonder.
you should always buy and hold. I mean, that's always been my theory, and I know it's easier said than done because, you know, if you've been in crypto for a minute, I mean, you can see Bitcoin, the rise and fall of a civilization in 10 minutes is what I like to say sometimes, you know, but
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that brings up a good point because, like, we were going to say, like, things that are in the news, right? Like, what's going on that could affect crypto, right? And so I look at anything like that, and so you guys understand that they're on Tuesday morning, a lot of the cell phone companies, they were shut down. Okay, T-Mobile, AT&T, all these, and some of the phones aren't working still. They're in SOS mode, guys. Now, what happened? Was there a cyber attack
Yeah.
that they're not discussing?
I mean,
By the
this
way, is this a dry run for something that's going to happen during election season? What would happen if there was an electromagnetic pulse that shut down the electrical grid and then it has to all be rebooted back up? That's my concern with crypto. Like, I got $10 million on crypto, and it poof,
well,
it goes all away.
here, first of all, with that, I mean, we talked about this on one of our last podcasts, which I'm a firm believer the Third World War will be fought with shutting off power grids.
Right.
It's too easy of a solution. You disable an entire country's
anarchy.
You know, but here's what I always say to people, because all the time people say, well, I don't necessarily per se have a problem with Bitcoin, but the ultimate question is what happens if the electricity and the power grid gets shut off?
Right.
My response is you're going to have a lot bigger things to worry about than trying to recoup your Bitcoin
Right.
than
Absolutely.
you are if the power grid shuts off. For instance, right now, if the power grid shut off, would you be able to go into Chase Bank and get your money out of there? Nope. Would you be able to use it online to get it off your cell phone? Nope. So even the way that money is structured right now, digitally, everything is digital. Everything is online. So it wouldn't just be Bitcoin you wouldn't have access to. You wouldn't have access to your money in general. So then we go back to, well, then you would have to have gold. And the majority of people who own gold do not own gold. They own a certificate that says, I owe you gold.
Sure.
But when the shit hits the fan, do you think that's going to be redeemed? No, you don't own gold. Your gold sits in Fort Knox in a basement. You simply own a certificate.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's just
So that's what I'm trying to say, which is the world would be in peril with a lot of things happening if the power grid shuts off. So Bitcoin is just one thing out of a multitude of things that you wouldn't have access to.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Fair enough. Although, let's say I'm prepping, and I always keep I always keep cash on hand, gold on hand. What if I don't? I can't something that's that's why like an NTF, like a non-fungible.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand any of that either.
Well, for instance, there was an experiment that was done just a short time ago, and they were able to send one Bitcoin to another person through radio waves. So say we're guerrilla tactics and total anarchy and the power grid's been shut down.
Right.
Using radio waves would be a way to be able to still get your signals out there.
Right.
So if you can still send Bitcoin through that, you're good to go. You're not going to be able to access your Chase Bank account through a radio wave. correct?
No, correct.
Because
but
Chase
what I'm
Bank
saying
would
is
have
that
to be.
I already have all this stuff on hand.
Yeah.
My scenario is, listen, I'm a doomsday prepper.
Yeah, me
I've
too.
got my meals. I've got all this stuff. I've got money on hand. I'm not out going to my bank. It's already been done. It's already been handled. It's already taken care of. Then I would need technology on this radio wave if I actually had Bitcoin. And then you have to ask yourself, how many people right now know how to operate radio waves? The population right now, I would put it as minuscule. And so minuscule would be like, it's really, so if less than 1% of 1% actually knew how to work radio waves, would that system work? I would say it would take a long time, a lot of prepping, and by the time it hits.
Totally agree. But the point was more to say that you could, possibly.
Could.
So here's the great thing about Bitcoin, which is you only literally need one computer working in the world for Bitcoin to continue working. That's it. Only one computer in the world. And if we're talking about doomsday scenario, honestly, I don't think gold's going to matter. I don't think Bitcoin's going to matter. I don't think cash is going to matter. To me, in that kind of scenario, the only thing that's going to matter is food and bullets.
Absolutely.
If you have the most food and bullets, you're going to win.
I agree. Most resources. And those are my concerns. But, at the end of the day, I think it's, like I say, I want to know, what's the benefit to the common person out here going, hey, I'm just going to dabble in 100 a month, 200 a month, 250 a month, whatever it might be, small increments. I know there are people doing millions and billions.
But you don't need, so to me, the value factor of it is, first of all, 10 years ago today,
right,
Bitcoin reached a high of $50. Today it's 50,000.
Right.
10 years later.
Right.
So that kind of
times.
Speaks volumes for just holding on to it.
Right. And that's, that's a great point, actually, because
thank you.
But and see, so for the common person like me, right?
But people understand numbers like that.
Well, we understand numbers like that because everyone understands a dream and going 50, 1,000 times, and that, even though it's not a get rich quick, it was 10 years. It is still that's not my question. My question is, how does it go from? Because I can't touch it.
Because
I can't feel it. It's not being
the
backed
best
by
way.
anything.
The best way that I can, or the way that I look at it is because it's the true value in it is that it's anti the monetary system that we have.
Okay.
So number one, first of all, we're in a first world country.
Yeah.
We can eat food when we want to. We can drive where we want to go. We can do whatever we want to do. But if you were in a third world country, you would understand Bitcoin and the power of Bitcoin a lot more. Number one, 1/3 of the bank doesn't have a bank account or access to a bank account. This automatically gives you a bank account in your cell phone in your back pocket.
We got to say that. Say that again.
What's that?
You said 1/3 of the bank. That's not what you meant to say.
1/3 of the population.
1/3 of the world, of the economy of the world, does not have access to a bank account. But with Bitcoin, they have stored value that they could put in their back pocket on their cell phone.
Right.
Number two, think about if you're in, say, Afghanistan and the Taliban's coming back to take over power. Obviously, you don't want to be there anymore.
Right.
So you need to get the hell out of Dodge. What are you going to do? Pack up your Afghan money into suitcases and then carry those suitcases full of money, which are going to be robbed, across the border where it's worth nothing? But if you have Bitcoin, it's on your cell phone and it's in your back pocket. And no matter what country that you go to in the world, it's worth exactly the same.
Right.
And number three, I would say this, which is the current, what really truly made me start to understand the value of Bitcoin was understanding the current system that we have that's in place right now.
Right.
Right? So we went off the gold standard in 1971.
Right. Yeah.
All we do is hit the print button to print more money.
Correct.
But it's not backed by anything.
Correct. Well, either's Bitcoin. That's what I'm saying. It's not backed by anything either.
But so you're saying that one thing that's not backed by anything you don't understand the value of, but the other thing that's not backed by a value you understand the value of.
Scarcity and abundance. And so since money is in abundance, printed dollars are in abundance.
So,
and Bitcoin has a limited amount.
Why is the American dollar a currency that doesn't fall down in value like, say, Venezuelan? Venezuela, if they hit the print button on their money supply, they depreciate 500%.
Absolutely.
with their money value. Right. How come the United States can do the exact same thing and we don't appreciate? Because of the world belief system.
Correct.
The world believes that America's government is the strongest government in the world.
Correct.
So my argument is what actually gives us our dollar value? Our military.
Okay.
But what happens when you start to have Russia and China start to do natural gas trades in Bitcoin, or at least not in American dollars anymore? So we were in charge of the world for the last 100 years, and we moved it, had a gold backed by gold until 1971. Then in 1971, we realized that we had hit the print button so many times that we literally didn't have the money to insure the gold from all the countries that were.
So is there a way for the governments, any government, to find out who owns the majority
Yes.
of the Bitcoin?
Who owns a majority of the Bitcoin?
Or are these?
Well, yeah,
all
I
of
mean,
us, are we anonymous, or can we be easily found? Is my question. The
Yeah,
reason
I mean,
ask that is because
that's the thing about Bitcoin. Now, it's completely private and it's not completely private.
Right.
Here's a misconception. It's completely private because if you store it in your hard wallet, then you are the only person that has access to it.
Okay.
If you don't, if you have it on an exchange or you're facilitating it, transferring it online somewhere to somebody else, now there's tracking that they can do because it's blockchain, and blockchain is a distributed open ledger that anybody can see it.
Okay.
So you can see and track where the money's going.
Okay.
And, if you are, even if you're selling $5 million worth of Bitcoin, you're going to probably do it through an exchange.
Right.
You have to register your name and information and bank
Right.
account and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
So they know who the major whales are who hold Bitcoin
Okay.
right
So
now.
that's the
Yeah,
answer.
so
yes, they know. So the whole thing about the military. So I could come to you. I could kidnap you. I could extract your codes, your passwords, in exchange for your family's lives, right? Also, the militaries can still take your Bitcoin. I don't think that's out of the realm, because that's what I would do. Oh, you're telling me that's the only thing of value? Oh, and I know where you're at. Psh, I'm coming for you, baby. Thank you.
What do you mean? So how can they take your Bitcoin?
I just said, dude, a military. You don't think they could capture you?
Sure.
Or your family, hold your family captive? I want your passwords.
Well, then yes. I
Okay,
mean,
well, then
but so
but
if
that's
you're
what
talking
our mili-
about
you just said that's
hostage,
our military.
extortion, that's illegal.
Well, but I mean, by your
then yeah,
example,
I mean,
it's by your example.
Listen, nothing of value is safe in this world if someone's holding a gun to your head saying,
Exactly.
"Give me it." Like
Well,
that's right. That's not.
I get that, but the thought popped in my head because you only said the only reason we have value is it's backed by our military, and I said, well, if I can find you, then any military can, not our military, any military.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying is it's not this safe haven that we're thinking, because they know who you are. They know who owns the bulk of it, and they're going to, that'd be my, hey, listen, the only person getting away is Mark Zuckerberg because he's got a $27 million bunker.
If you have it in your hard wallet,
Yeah.
as a common civilian
Yeah.
living in the world,
Yeah.
So listen, if the government wants you for something, the government's going to get you.
Absolutely.
Like that.
Absolutely.
That to me has
No.
nothing to do with Bitcoin
Right.
and taking your Bitcoin. Or
I'm
not.
just saying it's not
It's,
as safe as we're
So
making it sound.
it is completely safe, because if you want to use it for a store of value
Right.
or a transaction, other than somebody putting a gun to your head and getting the password from you,
Yeah.
they can't take your money. You have complete control of your money.
Yeah.
Chase Bank can freeze your bank
Freeze your
account.
accounts.
The government can come in and say, we
Yeah.
want that frozen,
I
all those
agree.
things. They can't. So that to me is like this. Bitcoin does have manipulation.
Yeah.
It goes up and down. It does all those things. To me, the value in it is that.
Okay. And I get that. See, because I don't know anything, right?
Yeah.
I love the back and forth because somebody like me is going, and it's not just my questions.
Yeah.
Right. These questions come from people I talk to that don't know anything.
And
as much
here's
as I
why,
don't know anything.
here's why it's considered valuable on another stage as well, which is because it has the exact same characteristics that all hard money has, right? Which means the two main characteristics of hard money is that it's scarce, there's not a lot of it, and that it's very hard or expensive to produce,
Right.
like gold.
Right.
I mean, out of all the elements and rocks to do with this earth, gold is super hard
Right.
to find, and it's very expensive to extract.
Isn't that
those two
amazing?
principles keep a store of value. So Bitcoin, same thing. There will only ever be a fixed supply, 21 million ever made.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So, and it's very expensive.
Right.
To create a new Bitcoin costs a lot of money. So it has the exact same characteristics as what the physical world has, but it's the internet world now.
Right. Because gold, there's a finite amount of gold on our planet. And they say it's about 3 Olympic-sized pools, and that's it. So all these things that and why is it that diamonds, which is one of the
Because of
most
marketing.
common, yeah, it is. The De Beers company has something on the marketing, which was brilliant, but they turned one of the most common, a gem.
Yeah.
Guys, there's much rarer gems than.
They made you think it was valuable.
I need to
think
pause you for just a second. I'm sorry, guys.
Yep.
We're going to keep the cameras rolling, but this is the guy I told you about.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, let's see.
This is good. We'll keep it going for like another 15, 20.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Okay, I'll follow up. Call you back. Okay.
Was understanding our current money system.
Right.
And because that same thing.
Yeah.
So kind of roll back. It's
back. De
kind
Beers.
You guys ever watch Patrick Bet David? And any
Yes.
Okay, so Patrick Bet David, I love his podcast. I can't remember. This is a guy who owns his own company. Was this the CEO? And he put all of the company's money in Bitcoin, over $1 billion in Bitcoin, because of all those reasons, right? And like, in his reasoning being, well, have you tried carrying a bar of gold in an airport? They'll confiscate it.
Yep.
Have you tried, taking a bundle of money over the border? They'll take it from you. So his belief is all of those things, and it can increase in value. It's limited supply. Other things aren't in limited supply. Even real estate, you don't invest in real estate in a lot of these other countries because the governments are corrupt.
Yes.
And sometimes they can take your real estate from you.
That's what it is. It's complete freedom of your money.
Right.
So on a bigger perspective, it's complete freedom of your money. A government cannot confiscate it.
Right.
Nobody can confiscate it. So to me, money goes up, money might go down, values might go up, values might go down.
Right.
But they can all step in and control your actual value. Nobody can actually control my Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah. So the simplicity is this. If you want to break it down to the simplest form, why does Bitcoin have value? Because people give it a belief. That's why.
Okay.
Because to me, all value of anything that's ever existed in this world comes down because of a belief system. Right. People collectively give it value. Why is $1 million house $1 million 1 year and maybe 2 years later it's 1.5 million? Because people will pay $1.5 million for it 2 years later. Right?
Yes.
The belief system is that collectively people give it value. If people say that $1 million house is now only worth 800, then it's only going to sell for 800 because that's the belief system.
Well, that's simplistic, but you realize there's a lot more.
Of course there is.
Variables,
And there's a lot
interest rates, scarcity, abundance.
Of course, but all those come into play of what a buyer is willing to pay
it's market
for a
value.
house, right?
Right,
Market
that's
value. So that to me, market value, people, what gives Bitcoin worth? Number one, what someone's willing to pay for it.
Then why did it take such a big dip?
Because you have people selling.
Gotcha.
It's like
so
it's
the
like
belief disappeared for a lot of people?
People were taking profit.
Okay.
It's real simple.
Okay.
When something's
So when they take so there's a sell-off.
We looked at the American dollar 1 week, and it was up to $1.06, and then it was down to 98 cents.
Right.
What's the fluctuation? Right. Because people were taking profit. Now, when you're talking about currency like that, it might be a little bit different because you're talking about shipping and exports and imports and world interest rates and all those different things. But Bitcoin, what makes it go up and what makes it go down? It's real simple. People buying or people selling.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying is you can have times where Bitcoin goes from 45,000 to 52,000 in 4 hours. And you can have times where it goes from 55,000 down to 48,000 in 15 minutes.
Right.
But
so that would be that's my next question is we're realtors. We all sell real estate and doing it for a while. Have you ever done a transaction with Bitcoin? And what would that be like if we did?
Sure. Have not yet. So I'm looking for anybody who wants to do that, but it's real simple. At this point, to keep it real simple, is you would have a third party like PayPal or something like that, a third-party transaction service that we can get involved, and the person who wanted to say they wanted to pay for a $500,000 house in Bitcoin, they would take their $500,000 worth of Bitcoin from whatever account they have it in. They would transfer that over to the third party.
Right.
The third party would take that money and convert it into cash.
Okay.
So when the title company, like say Streamline, who's the title company here?
Clear Title.
Clear Title. So say Clear Title here, they have a buyer that says, I want to buy this house for $1 million cash, but I want to pay for Bitcoin. Basically, Clear Title, whenever they received money for it, like they receive it in cash.
Gotcha.
Because a third party would take that Bitcoin, take their
Convert it.
fee from doing it, but they would instantly convert it into cash. At that point, it's a bank-to-bank wire cash transfer when they send it to the title company.
And I've never sold any of my Bitcoin because I don't have that much. But is it easy to convert it into cash?
Super easy.
Just like through my app on my
Yeah.
phone? Okay.
You just get, like, if you went to TD Ameritrade and you went to your Apple stock, you wanted to sell it, you hit sell. That's it. Boom, done.
Okay. And then go to your bank account.
Yeah. And it goes right to your bank account. So, and then you have the history of you selling it that you would provide to your lender or to the title company that shows it's legit money.
That's awesome.
So that's what I say is, why would you not be open to selling your house for Bitcoin? Because you're going to receive cash. Do you like cash offers?
Right.
I do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's that simple. And then furthermore, you could take the title and have it recorded on blockchain. So think about once all titles from homes are recorded on blockchain, what's a title company do?
I don't know.
What would they have to do if everything was recorded on title?
I don't think I'm understanding your question.
So title companies run the history of a title to make sure that the
Sure.
property doesn't have any liens or
anything
whatever
like
it is
that.
about
No
it.
clouds on title.
So once property titles are all recorded on blockchain and you know the complete history on it, down the road, where would a title company come into play?
Well, that might be true.
Customer
I don't-
service.
Well, customer service, but it's also insurance because there's so many complexities. I mean, just because I
But
can see
once
the
it's on
history-
blockchain, there's no more complexities. It's right there. It's an open ledger that everybody can see the complete history of.
I get that.
So you can't change anything with blockchain. You can only add to it.
Got you. But
So-
here's my
there's a-
point: is there's got to be work. I have one right now where it's owned by a bank, and there was the former owner was foreclosed on 8 years ago. Files list pendants, list pendants, list pendants. Okay, well, it does take a title and escrow account because they have to issue title insurance on this, and now it's in federal court. It's got to be signed by the federal. So there's a lot more that goes into what a title and escrow
Because it's not on
company does.
blockchain. Once it gets on blockchain, all that's resolved and it gets on blockchain, you'll never have that issue again.
Well, I
Is
need to
blockchain
jump
not
in.
going to show the
Guys,
list pendants?
Can I
It's not
talk?
gonna
My turn.
Oh,
My turn.
who is this?
I'm
Pedro?
here. You guys
Who is
know
this
that.
guy?
go
18
Whoa.
minutes.
Sorry.
I thought it was just us today.
You know, it's-
Eric and I are having
yeah,
a
you guys
great
having a good thing
conversation,
there.
man.
Yeah. You know, later you guys can go kiss or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Here
sounds
it is.
good.
Look at this guy.
Here it is. First of all, title insurance, one of the things that they do is check the title history,
Right.
but they also do preventative. So,
Absolutely.
for example, if there's an attorney right now that hasn't had a chance to go file until the last minute, their job is to check to see before it records if there was a lien.
Sure.
But if it's done after the fact, then there's this dispute, right? Then you got probate, okay?
Everything.
Every kind of
Wow.
lawsuit you can imagine. So there is going to be a place for title insurance. Now, watch this.
Title insurance.
Here's the thing. When it comes to the blockchain, as Bret so eloquently stated, there's going to be a transparency that doesn't exist right now. However, for that to happen, you're going to have to get every municipal county in the country to participate, which is actually closer than we may think.
Sure.
There's already 2 major companies that hold 95% of all of the recordings and titles in the country. Just 2 companies.
They're doing the car titles in California right now for the state of California.
Now,
DMV is.
those 2, for example, one's Fidelity.
Sure.
Okay, I think
Fidelity
the other
companies.
Yeah, what's the other one? Stewart?
First American title.
First America. There you go. So you got both of those companies holding most of the transactions that are going on. So once they get on board and then the technology catches up and it's not as expensive, then we will see blockchain and it will be a non-issue.
Right.
Hold on.
Yeah.
The reason it'll be a non-issue, it's like before we had smartphones, right? Everyone speculated when there was a big conversation, oh, smartphone this, smartphone that, but we all had I'm not giving up my flip phone. Why would I want a computer? Right. Well, now that everyone has one, and most people won't even buy a flip phone, it's a non-issue. You don't have your email on your phone? Are you kidding me right now? Right. You can't digitally sign in your phone. What? What kind of age are you? Right? So at the end of the day, this will be like that. It will be just something we learn in class, and this is the way it is now. Right. And we won't remember. Just like we don't remember those big fat MLS books that when I started back in the day, right? Who cares? So, yes, it is going to happen. And yes, it won't be that big a deal. However, is it a big deal? Yeah. It will reduce the cost factor for the buyer by a big amount. Right now, the title companies charge a lot of money to do title insurance, to do escrow and all that. Well, when those services are diminished, they're going to go the way of the operator, right? There will be, like Bret said, customer service. However, that will be relegated to a few licensees that will just monitor, probably online, of all the transactions that are going through and just picking out the ones that need a little help to do a little bit extra work at a premium, okay? But we won't see what we have now, these companies that are charging these fees. And nothing wrong with it. And I'm not putting down title companies or escrow at all. But it's not a model that is sustainable based on the technology that is afoot, is what I think Bret's trying to say and what I'm trying to say.
And here's my point is, I remember when I started this business in 1998, and that's right when the boom of the internet was coming out. And what was happening in real estate at that time was they thought you either get in full board because the internet's going to take you out of the game, just like it's taking out the travel agencies, right? So the travel agent nowadays is Canoe, it's Travelocity, it's all these other companies. Like you were saying, hey, tell me the last travel agent you know that's sitting in a building on some strip center. Like, they're gone. But they were also predicting the demise, in fact, Steve Jobs, everybody, right? They were making huge investments in the internet to take realtors out. And that was the big deal. I remember you had to pay $10,000 plus for your own website. My point being, that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my point being is I can see your point where this could take out some industries. I'm not so sure it's going to take out that one. Even, like I say, because they were saying, who's the Microsoft guy?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Bill Gates was, hey, guys, realtors, you're all going to be employees, right? The internet's going to take you out. You're just going to be a functionary. You're just going to open doors, right? This is in 1998.
Well, to me,
it didn't happen. My point being, it didn't happen with their vision. I'm not saying it won't happen here. I'm just saying, Steve Jobs, you got it wrong.
Here's the way I look at it,
and
which
so
is
Bill Gates, you got it wrong.
Customer service will always exist.
Right.
Especially good customer service.
Right.
So the customer service part of a lot of jobs right now are still going to be there. So realtors are still going to be there. Right. We're not going anywhere. But a lot of what a realtor does is customer service.
Right.
The process of the transaction can be automated. It can be automated through smart contracts.
And always has been able to since 1998. That's my point.
But I think that once the consumer can start having a lot more control over their transactions and having it almost done for themselves, they're going to equate that to realtors shouldn't be making the money that they're making. And the consumer themselves is what's going to force realtors to make a lot less money on it, because we're going to have more of an automated role, but the value in us, and the value in us has always been customer service. Yeah. We know the market. We know how to facilitate it. We know the ins and outs, all those things. But I think that once the process is automated a lot more to the public, they're going to equate that to paying realtors less.
Like I say, there's been vast improvements.
Where they can go to a website and click three buttons and buy a house.
Listen,
that's where.
It's been 25 years of advancements, technology, speed, technology.
Sure.
Every time every year.
But all that's been built up to where we're at now. Blockchain enables all of this to happen. Of what I'm telling you about.
And I get this. I get what you're saying. My point being, there are going to be some industries, maybe even law. Attorneys, we're going to eliminate
100% it will.
So there's going to be certain things, because now if we just have questions, then of course. But we've had this prediction in our industry for many years, right?
Well, look at it this way. Even an attorney right now, if you could go onto ChatGPT or some format,
absolutely,
where you don't need, because every time that I even have a simple question to an attorney, it's $400.
Correct.
It's $350.
Yeah.
So think about how much of a chip away on the market you're taking from an attorney just by them not even being able to get that $350 because you can go to ChatGPT.
Correct.
Now imagine that happening to other industries like real estate. The more that the consumer feels like they can control the situation and know what's going on and have the safety and the transparency there, that's going to tumble over into paying realtors making less money.
Why don't I invent some AI where I just upload it with every real estate
Already working
law,
on it, brother.
all the real estate laws, NRS 645. You don't have to call me. You can call my AI, and it's going to have better answer than me.
Yes.
Because it's downloaded with
You can actually do
everything.
that right now. It's called if you want to train your own bot.
Yeah.
Like I could literally set you up with an AI open program.
Right.
Where I can take all of your old podcasts, all of your old interviews, all of your old documents,
Right.
all of your old writings, everything that you've done, Google Docs,
Right.
and I can load that all into one central bot, and it will produce material better than you'll be able to.
Yeah. That's
I can do that right now if you want.
Well, and that's what I want to do. I want to go to a place where, like, hey, I get a lot of questions.
I can
from
show you.
agents.
Yeah. So it's that's what I'm saying. It would all be automated.
Yes.
So a lot of people are doing that with trainings. Like you start at a new job somewhere and they have training manuals.
Right.
But the training programs and the training manuals suck. You can literally take those training manuals, load them into a bot, and then it'll automatically train the person way better than any physical trainer could.
All right.
Love it.
My turn.
You got it, buddy.
Eric and I
I have a lot of questions.
Sorry,
guys
bro.
are deep
I love,
in
Dude, I
questions.
love chatting with Eric.
Yeah. But this
It
is
was
a
like
podcast.
me, not so much. I haven't had a chat.
It's called podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So,
Pedro, your turn, buddy.
yeah, I thank you.
Our special guest today is Pedro
Hey.
Rachet.
All right, guys. Look, I'm gonna lay some stuff on you guys.
All right,
but
lay it down.
I need at least 2 minutes
Go for it.
uninterrupted.
Yep.
You know. All right. So let's take a step back, a big step back, and
All right.
let's look at this at a macro level.
Yeah.
Okay. The bots, that idea, great idea. Yeah. Although it'll be eaten up, if you would, by what's really coming. We are just seeing the tip of the iceberg of what's going to happen with AI.
Absolutely.
Some of the proponents of AI that are opponents of AI that are saying that it's likened to a Skynet, that it's going to be a very dangerous thing. Well, they're not.
Some portions will be.
They're not thinking that it's going to be apocalyptic.
Right.
It may or may not. What they're more saying is that it's going to affect the common man at a very, very deep level. Our going to school for 8 years to learn what a AI can learn in probably 20 minutes, okay? And then go on to another field and be an expert in like 30 different fields. It's likened to the Matrix.
Sure.
Where you can download anything you want. What I see Elon Musk running at fast speed, Elon Musk is running at a very high speed to try to meet what he sees a future being, with robots, with chips that could be implanted.
Sure.
Part of that is Bitcoin and other digital currency on a blockchain. There are think tanks right now trying to figure out what could be inevitable outcomes.
Yeah.
Real estate,
Imagine being able to shut down 7 billion computers, embedded chips, and get it to mind control. I mean, see, that's when people start thinking that way, right? Because that's what it leads me to believe. Like, oh, like voting on your phones.
Remember when
corruption.
Remember when the first sheep was cloned?
Yeah.
Dolly?
Yeah.
And that was what, 30 years ago, 25 years ago? And everybody said, oh my God, the next step is they're going to start cloning humans. What humans have they cloned?
Yeah.
None.
Well, we have had test tube babies.
I know, but
we have had babies born in test tubes, so it's not out of the realm of what they're
But
saying.
that's not
well
nearly the same thing.
If you don't think they're clones, you guys are out of your mind.
I was gonna say
You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
They were doing in Israel. They had not that the government of Israel, by the way, supported it, but they had doctors in Israel that were talking about cloning just after Dolly was done. They've perfected cloning to an art already,
And there's no
it's
humans
there.
that are cloned.
But can we go back to Pedro? Remember,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said I need to
You're
interrupt
talking
it 5
about-
minutes.
yeah,
You know
so-
all that. Okay,
yeah.
so the point of what I'm trying to say is, if we go back and take a macro level on there, you've got to ask yourself a question. What will humanity really do? Adobe has created an unbelievable application that makes editing a breeze, and you can do things on that would blow your mind.
Sure.
The whole Taylor Swift taking her clothes off
Right.
thing was huge on the internet just recently,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, the
Well,
AI
there were nude pictures of her because of AI generated pictures.
yeah, huge problem.
Really?
Yeah, lawsuits, the whole bit. And
you're
it
gonna have
comes to question is that what's going to be the norm? And you bet you.
Sure.
Then you've got software that can mimic your voice perfectly, and in your
Yeah,
families.
deepfakes.
Yeah, there's deepfakes. So going back to your initial question, okay, is how secure is Bitcoin? And then I always love to use this example. I'm a well-traveled person. I've gone many, many different places in the world. I've seen literally on a train from France to Italy a shakedown. I saw it, where they asked a traveler, what do you got? You know, and the guy's like, well, I got a few thousand euros, this and that. They opened up all stuff, saw that he had more than the accepted daily amount was, whatever that was, 1,000 euros or 5,000 euros, whatever it was. They took all his money. They took all his jewelry, anything of value they took. Okay. And I was flabbergasted. I thought I was next, to be honest with you. For whatever reason, they didn't get to me. But they walked away with a big, sizable haul. Okay. Well, that being said, okay, so that happened. Who cares? That stuff happens all the time.
Sure.
Shakedowns happen. So if we're in a situation where there's an EMT, anything like that, yeah, you want to have some cash. Yeah, you want to have some gold and silver and whatever else, jewelry, whatever else you can trade for the interim. If it is The Walking Dead, brother, it don't matter. So it's not a non-conversation.
Exactly.
It's a non-conversation.
Exactly.
No one wants to live that. Okay.
Bullets and food.
Yeah. If it's a situation where it's temporary, the governments will come back. Then we're going to have the electricity come back, just like the AT&T went out and everyone freaked out and the whole bit, which I'll get to in a second because I got something deep to say about that. So at the end, what you'll have is this scenario. So now let's go back in time, but this time I'm wearing a set of glasses. And on the glasses, I have Satoshis that equal 1 Bitcoin. Today it's worth $52,000, $50,000, whatever, right? They come in, they take 5,000 euros, they take my jewelry, they take all that stuff. So hypothetically it happens. So I go in and I'm like, this sucks. I go in, I sit down, I wait, I get off the next stop, I go to the first terminal, I do it on my cell phone, okay? And I
That
wire.
they didn't take, I guess.
Okay, so let's say they took my cell phone.
I mean, that's the only thing they left with
Let
you.
me show you. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Then put in your belt buckle.
Hold on.
Yeah. I mean, that scenario's out
This
the
is
window.
going to be a lot of editing for me in this short.
I'm sorry,
So-
but that's a
But
big.
I
That's
am
a
getting
what?
there.
Like you're crazy.
Wait. So I'm getting it. So let me start again. Hold on. This is all edited. 1 second. So now I go to the terminal. I have no phone. They took it.
Yeah.
I have no phone. Okay. I take off my glasses
Right.
and I pull the side out, and it's a USB.
Okay.
I plug it in, C plug, to a bigger USB. I go to the nearest computer, whatever. Or I buy one if I want, or I borrow one, whatever I want to
Right.
do. I go in. I know my passwords. Go in. Coinbase, for example, today.
Right.
And I send myself over a certain amount of money. I go in to the nearest bank, pull it. I'm back to traveling. Done. If I even want it, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, they could have had $50,000. They're smart enough to take my glasses, right?
Right.
But they weren't, and they'll never be. At the end of the day, you can have Bitcoin either on your person or in the air. So let's say they took my glasses. I go to the next terminal, jump on one of the exchanges, and I pull down whatever I want, if it's there, right? So what I'm trying to say is, as far as portability, if I had
I like the portability.
gold, silver, anything in my position, gone. Right?
I agree with you.
Okay. As far as the exchangeability, all over the world, people are taking Bitcoin.
Right.
Everywhere. Okay. So all that being said, the case for Bitcoin is one of the assets that you should own, not the only asset. I will say this, though. There are only going to be 21 million mined, period, end of story.
Absolutely.
They've already lost 2 or 3 million, at least.
Right. I know some
Okay.
people forgot their passwords and you can't even have access to
dump.
it. People died.
Exactly.
They're gone.
So now there's still a sizable amount that exists, and some that still need to be mined. So here's the point. It's going to be a very valuable asset for a very, very long time. And it's only going to grow in value. And a lot of people don't understand. Do you know how many sats are in one Bitcoin?
How many what?
Satoshis?
I have no idea what
It's
a
like-
Satoshi is.
like, it's-
Remember,
it-
I don't know anything.
It's
Brett, go ahead.
a Satoshi is a piece of Bitcoin that you can break it into.
Okay.
So look at it this way as like, how many cents does a dollar have? 100 cents. So a full Satoshi has 100 million Satoshis in it. A full Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis in it.
Okay.
So that means that one Bitcoin can be broken up into 100 million different parts.
Okay.
So that's the way that you can. And
So 21 million times 100 million.
basically, yes.
All right, 100 million. So if you do that, we came out with, it was an incredible amount, like a few trillion Satoshi.
absolutely.
So could that replace our whole monetary system? Yeah, because it's just based on value. So when we do value today, we base it on the dollar.
Right.
Later down the road, it may be we base it on a Satoshi. Well, who knows? All right, it could be something else. But me, I say I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. That means that's the one coin, the rule them all, the one I believe in. Not believe in like God, but believe in that will survive.
Right.
Okay. So going forward, now, in that world that everyone likes to paint, I would rather have the most portable, the easiest to access funds to be able to exchange with than the typical survival mentality, have a couple bricks of gold. Because gold could be taken that fast. But here's something else about gold. I am a firm believer that it is not a limited supply. They say that if you get all the gold that's ever been, will ever be, the Egyptians and this, that, it can fit in one Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's what they always say.
Three. Yeah.
Three. I don't believe that. It's already, there's no way you could tell me that.
Look in Arizona.
Yeah, there's no way you could tell me that something so needed by the earth, okay, is going to be so limited. Just like oil. Now we're all discovering that's really not dinosaurs.
We'll never run out of oil.
Yeah, but oil is a renewing thing. They can make gold right now that's too costly to do, agreed, and it, today. But they can make gold in a laboratory right now.
They can make
Diamonds, and diamonds right now, they make them better than nature does.
That's right.
Right? So at the end, the beers and boys, they're all going to lose their shirt, okay, because technology's coming. So what won't? Itself, the technology, the one technology that is a trusted, a decentralized coin that we can use to exchange our goods and services. Okay. That's what we need. Something that is not centralized. Okay, that is the problem with all governments. One of the reasons, Eric, that we are continually at war is the government's ability to fund it by an unlimited printing press.
Right.
World War I and World War II would not have lasted as long as they did had we not had the printing press. Right. Period. So,
let me ask you, though, is it, like you were saying, technology advances, is this going to be the only technology we see coming down, that Bitcoin's the end-all, be-all forever and ever and ever? Or, because somebody just invented it. It's not like somebody, like...
Here's what's great about Bitcoin, which is every other cryptocurrency or form of value that exists right now, there's a human or there's a company behind it.
Right.
If you were to go after Bitcoin right now, who would you go after?
Right. Nobody.
You can't. Right. There's no CEO. There's no one person. Now, the way
that's because of Satoshi, whatever.
Well, but here's the thing.
His real name. And
but here's the thing.
So there was somebody.
Yeah, but
It wasn't a body.
anonymous.
It wasn't a body, my opinion. It was a group of people that was led by one person. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, we all have, he has his, I have mine. That doesn't matter. The point is that if you look back at the NSA and they're bringing about blockchain technology,
Right.
all right, and the precursors to what we see today with everything technology that we need to be able to do Bitcoin, all right, you start asking some interesting questions.
Yeah.
Well, to me, here's what it comes down to. Power. Bitcoin's power is distributed, decentralized into the world, which means that no one person or one entity can ever have complete control of it.
Right.
Ever. So every government that's ever existed, every civilization that has ever existed has at one point or another gained control of the currency and manipulated it.
Right.
Because they outspend what they can actually save.
Right.
That's how
So,
we can
no,
finance
that's- so I
World War
guess,
One and
like-
World War II, right?
Right.
So the power of Bitcoin, the way that it's run, it's decentralized across the entire world through thousands, if not millions, of computers.
Correct.
So not one person can have any centralized control over your money. There's not one other cryptocurrency that you can really say that about because
Not right-
there's somebody you
not
can go
yet.
after. There's a company you can go after. You can't do that with Bitcoin.
Right. No, here's my point. And Pedro actually mentioned, like, where this is the tip of the spear when it comes to AI, right? This is just the beginning. So that leads me to my next question. I mean, I'm not foolish enough to believe that AI couldn't just create another form of currency without a company. Somebody just has to program it in, guys.
Yeah, but
because
here's
if I can envision that, if me, the simpleton, can say, "Oh, you're right. AI is going to create it's going to create something that's going to replace the Bitcoin. Bitcoin can become worthless based on what we create on AI, right? Couldn't I mean that could possibly exist?
You want to answer this?
Go for it.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, is it possible, Pedro?
It isn't.
It isn't. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Okay.
Because it has to be accepted by us.
Right. And
I'm
going to program AI to get it accepted.
Allow me.
Yep.
Okay. So let's say there's a rogue AI that develops 100,000 different blockchains, their variants and forked,
Right.
or are forked
I didn't say
from,
blockchain.
Well, let's just call them other Bitcoins that are forked or chain link or anything else that is forked. And the AI develops them all. That all of a sudden they're linked to a mini supercomputer and they can do that. Well, here's the problem. There's already that, but we invented them. We've already got a bunch of different coins and a bunch of different blockchains and all this and that. But here's the difference with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is what we accept it to be, period. If we're not accepting it, it doesn't exist for us. Does that make sense?
You're missing my question.
Well, let me give you an example because I think this will answer your question. In order to gain control of the Bitcoin network, and that's people need to keep in mind, that's what it is. It's just a network.
Correct.
It's a computer network. Okay. In order for one central person or central entity to gain control and attack the network and gain control, they would need 51% of the computer power. In order to gain 51% of the computer power, it would cost them trillions and trillions of dollars. But here's the kicker. Once everybody realized that Bitcoin was hacked, it would no longer be valuable. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because
I
it doesn't
didn't say
serve
hacked.
it. So to answer your question,
I didn't say hacked.
Because the belief system is that it's decentralized and no one person can control it. If it's all of a sudden proven that somebody can gain control of it, it no longer has its value anymore.
All right,
I'm not even.
wait.
That
What's
wasn't my
his
question.
Go ahead. What's your
Oh, I'm
question?
sorry.
That wasn't
Go
my
ahead.
question. I never said hacked, or I said couldn't. I mean, envision, because you're saying it's like, guys, it's a spec. We're right here, but there's all this is coming behind it. And I said, couldn't AI develop a different currency, not blockchain, not Bitcoin? You're thinking only Bitcoin. I said something in the future where it's another, like we can't even envision it right now.
As long as it ensured security and it ensured the same.
No, none of that. I'm saying, couldn't I have somebody, an AI, invent that somewhere down the line? And I'm saying, guys, because you were just saying 10 years ago, things were different. 20 years ago, things were different. So 20 years from now, couldn't AI develop something that's completely different than what we're discussing right now that would wipe out Bitcoin?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's it.
But
Not
in
hacking.
order for that to happen, you would have to have the belief system go there.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, Bitcoin and all value is based on a belief
So
system.
it is possible, though.
Anything. I mean,
so that's what I'm saying. So when you say it's impossible to happen, I'm saying, oh, no.
Wait.
Well,
No.
totally
You're
possible.
saying it's possible for another blockchain or
No.
coin. So what are you
another
saying?
form of currency.
he's,
Sure, another
he's
form of
saying that
currency.
if somebody else came out with something, if AI came out with a currency that all of a sudden everybody switched their belief to of giving it value, could that switch it? Yes, but that's
Not even
like
everybody.
that's not even a real.
It's not even everybody.
There's
It's the
already
people that
one
aren't on
they're
Bitcoin
already,
right now.
Eric, they're already developing one. You want me to tell you what the name of it is?
Yeah.
CBDC. It's already in Nigeria. It's already in
AI developed it?
in China. No,
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
but it's
See.
the point is it's another currency that the governments are going to use. Now, if the AI develops something that is better, greater, right, and they present it to the world, and the world adopts it as an alternative, great. But that's not the point. The
But the
point
world
is,
hasn't even adopted Bitcoin yet.
well, here's the
because
point.
there's only a certain percentage of people in the world who
Yeah.
own Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, but that's
How many? How many percent of people own Bitcoin right now?
you're talking about adoption. Can I answer that for you?
Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying how many right now, percentage?
How many people were using the internet in 1995?
No. I'm just saying right now. But you're saying we're going to have to change. I'm saying, well, like 90% won't have to change a thing. They're just going to go to the next
We're not
thing.
going to say that this is going to change the world tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, but hold on.
But
His question is
believe
valid.
in-
How
By the
many?
way, I'm going to invest. I mean, I love everything you guys are saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, to the common person that's
Yeah.
watching this podcast, they
I get
have
it.
the same questions I have. And I'm glad you guys are here to explain that because
let
that's
me
what
explain
I'm
the
thinking.
adoption. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, the adoption level. What's the absorption
All
rate right now?
You and I are about the same age.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you
a little bit older.
Well, a couple years.
Although
a
you
lot.
probably wouldn't
I
believe
just
that.
look better.
That's right.
All right.
Looking good.
All right. So here's the thing,
Eric
guys.
Minute.
Adoption. All right. So you remember when there was AOL?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
I still feed people that email.
It's
they're old.
funny. Yeah.
They're old.
So you've got that's when email and all things internet started to take off. Before there was Earthlink and a bunch of other things. But okay. So it's about adoption. So what we're seeing is an exponential growth in adoption in cryptocurrencies. Enough said about the ETF that just got accepted with BlackRock, right? That is going to be a game changer.
Sure.
And not that I agree with it. That conspiracy side of me doesn't really like the fact that they're in the game.
Yeah.
There's, in my mind, a lot of questions to that. But going forward, is it going to be adopted? Yeah. So now, the typical boomer can, instead of going, hey, son, I'm not going to get into an exchange. I don't know how to do that. But I tell you what, I'm going to call my guy. He says it now, it's available to me, and they're going to be able to pick it up. So they're going to pick it up through the ETF. Right. So now all of a sudden, boomers are getting in the game. Generation X getting into the game. Right. So what I see is in the next 5 years, we're going to have AOL adoption. And because Bitcoin is so finite, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to see a lot of ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And I told, I don't know, 2 days ago, last 2 weeks ago, or a week, 2 podcasts ago, whatever it was, that we're going to have a 20% correction. But if you look at the story of Bitcoin, you'll see these corrections and then new highs.
Right.
Corrections and new highs.
Sure.
So I really think we're going to be looking at $100,000 Bitcoin probably in the next year. Okay. But before that happens, we're looking at about a $20,000, $15,000 Bitcoin. So point is, you dollar cost average. That's how you play the game. So you asked, well, then how do I pick it up? What do I do? You go on to one of the exchanges. You say, I want to buy whatever $500, $100 buys every month.
Right.
Whatever, how many sets I can get on that. And then just leave it alone. And your bank will make the deposit. The exchange will happen automatically while you're sleeping. And then all of a sudden, a year from now, hey, went to $100,000. Are you kidding me? You jump on your account and well, look at that.
Right.
My investment went up 100%. Right. So it has those kind of functions that money doesn't have right now.
Right.
There is a limited amount of use case for the fiat money right now. There is so many things that we haven't even thought of we could do with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You haven't even heard of what they can actually embed in a Bitcoin blockchain that will make it absurdly valuable.
Right.
You want to tell them about that? About what's going on with
ERC 20s? So
ERC 20.
No, BRC.
BRC. Okay.
BRC, because Bitcoin. So you've heard of NFTs.
Yes.
So NFTs are basically taking digital proof that you own something, basically taking digital proof of ownership and embedding it onto the blockchain. That's what an NFT is.
Okay.
Right? So you can show you own something on the blockchain. The reason why that's important is, like, say you want to transfer that value and you want to use that to buy something else or whatever it is on the internet.
Right.
It's basically internet money, right?
Right.
So BRC20 is basically doing the same thing, but you're taking NFTs and you're putting them into actual Bitcoins. Now think about something where there's only 21 million supply, because Ethereum, where NFTs are done right now, there's millions and millions and hundreds of millions of market cap on that. Bitcoin, we know what the market cap is. It's a very finite, small supply, 21 million.
Right.
So imagine taking like proof, title that you own a house. I can prove that I own a house by the title is now in blockchain.
Right.
And how's that prove it? Because anybody at any time can go onto the blockchain and see that you own that house.
Right.
Now think about doing transactions where people are making the payment in Bitcoin. The title and the whole transaction is done actually in Bitcoin, all in one platform.
Right.
That's just one thing of a million different things you can do. And the most important thing that people are missing out on right now is what's going to be huge in the next couple of years are called real world assets, RWAs. And that's taking real world assets right now, like boats or artwork or homes or whatever it is, anything that you have of value, and taking that value and putting it on blockchain. The reason why that's important is because the more that blockchain becomes important, what blockchain does is it enables you to facilitate the value and that transfer of your value. Let me give you one quick example. You want to take out a home loan right now, right? Your loan is $500,000, but your house is worth $600,000. You're like, I've got $100,000 in equity in that I want to draw out, and I want to use it to pay for my kids' college or pay down some credit, whatever it is, invest. Well, that $100,000 equity is your money, right? You've lived there for that time.
Sure.
You've made the mortgage payments. That's your money.
Okay.
In order to take out your money, in order for you to transfer value that you already have, you need to go through a lender. It's going to take 5, 6, 7 days. It's going to cost you a couple $1,000s, all these different things. Why? Because you're waiting on systems and people to take their place.
So if I
now
own the Mona
imagine having that home loan on blockchain, and you can prove you own that house by anybody going onto the blockchain at any time. Now, say there's an app where you can actually draw out the equity of your house in a matter of 3 pushes of a button. And now you've actually able to take that $100,000 and stick it over here and over there and over that. So whatever you want to take out the $100,000 for, and whatever you want to use it for, that purpose is still there. But in order to do that right now, you've got to go through these choke points. You've got to go through these people. You've got to go through these systems and wait for them to do what they do. With blockchain, once it's on blockchain, you're able to facilitate and transfer your value in a matter of seconds. It's your value.
Let me get this right. If I own the Mona Lisa, I could put it on a blockchain.
Yep. The digital rights on a block, it would be an NFT.
An NFT.
Yep. You would still, if you sold that to somebody, they would still physically receive the Mona Lisa, but you could have it set up in a smart contract so that the second that they acknowledge that they received it, you automatically get your money, then it's released to you.
Okay. What if I have my Mona Lisa and I'm using it as leverage, like you were saying? I've got, I own it. It's $100 million.
Yep, you can do that too.
I can take them.
Use it for collateral.
What if my Mona Lisa gets stolen?
Your Mona Lisa gets stolen.
My boat gets stolen.
Well,
my
then
car gets stolen.
That doesn't mean it's not tokenized.
Yeah,
I get that. It's
tokenized still that you. I mean,
the insurance companies actually would prefer.
But it's backed by the real Mona Lisa.
Yes, which you would still have.
No, I just said it got stolen. You just said I still have it,
well,
but it got stolen.
Okay,
from my house.
Is something worth something if you don't have it anymore? No, I mean
that's what I'm saying.
Well,
but I've already used my leverage.
What does that have
to? So I have to give back.
What does that have to do with being able to transfer value that you already own on something online?
I'm not transferring value if I no longer. I'm saying it's backed by something. It's backed by the Mona Lisa.
And
I get somebody's giving me my money on my Mona Lisa.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think here's the disconnect. The token is just a certificate, an online receipt of ownership.
Right.
okay, that you can use as leverage. It's like the same thing when we deal in property, right?
Right.
Let's call it a $10 million house. We put it on and we tokenize that $10 million house, right? Now, everything that is needed on that $10 million house, you've put in every document that you ever signed for the house, right?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
all the proofs that come with the state. You have
Sure.
that. It's all right there. Now, that token is now being accepted by JP Morgan Chase, okay? And in it, it has a function that allows you to leverage that. Now, you own it $10 million. Now, you go to JP Morgan Chase, you show them the token. You say, I have this token, or you show them online that there's a secure way. They're already doing it,
Right.
okay? And then they turn around and they say, okay, we'll go ahead and loan you $1 million on that money. If the house burns down or they steal the house, right? Well, you still owe the money. You still have the token.
Right.
All right. See the point? It's nonsensical. It's the same thing as we signed a note. So if we sign a note, so I go and I do a loan, you sign a note for $400,000. Okay.
Right.
At the end of the day, you get the privileges, the house. I get this note that's just a piece of paper, a token, if you will.
Right.
Right. And then you're paying me a monthly rent. Monthly rent on the money or a mortgage. Right.
And I get that.
Right. It's the same concept. Although it's way more efficient, it's clean, it's transparent, which is huge. Now, you don't have to have the token, and it's just like right now, you don't have to have the house in your name, right? You can have it in an entity that you own. So now the entity owns this token, and the bank is willing to loan on you. Or here's even better. I own this token, and I have that digital Mona Lisa, okay?
Right.
And I decide I want to sell it. Someone wants to give me $1 million for it. I sell the digital Mona Lisa, send them the token after the chain link contract has been fulfilled. Sure. And now they get it. They get the delivery and the token.
Okay.
But see, my point is, Eric, that is what is coming in the immediate future. Within the next couple of years, we're going to see a big push from the banks to tokenize every asset. As a matter of fact, the Klaus Schwab, or whatever his name is, Schwab's, with the EWF, has gone on a rampage to tell everybody that they want to tokenize every asset.
Do you know why they want to tokenize everything? Because it's easier to facilitate. That's it. That's why they want to take real world assets and they want to take proof of it and they want to put it on blockchain. Because when you put it on blockchain, you're able to facilitate the value a lot easier.
And I
Klaus
get that.
Schwab.
But
That's what he
answer this then. 2020 comes and we get hit with this shandemic. Okay.
We're with you on that, dude.
Okay. Buildings, like commercial buildings, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, people can't go to work. The vacancy rate is up tremendously. Now, the value was built before in 2019.
So the token will go down in value too, to represent the going down in value of the buildings.
But if I sold my coin before the value went down, if I give you this,
it's instant. So you would have sold your coin for what someone would have paid you at that moment.
but let's just say the value was still up. But now 3 years later, that same building, see, I leveraged it back in 2019, not after the crash. I leveraged it before. Now, guys, that $800 million building goes for $200 million.
Yeah. So your token's worth $200 million now.
Yeah.
How's that any different?
No, what about the person who lent you the money?
They're ass out.
It's the same thing with a regular lender loaning you $800 and now it's only worth $200. What would happen in that scenario?
So there's no recourse other than
all you're doing with the coin is putting proof of ownership on blockchain. That's it. You're not changing anything about the value.
Yeah, the value is what people are willing.
The
to
value is what
exchange it
someone's
for.
willing to pay. Just like if a house goes up or down.
But they lent you real world money so that you could go buy other things.
So you'd have to real world pay them back.
But it's the risk that the real world takes.
I can't pay them back. Most commercial buildings are bought on non-recourse loans.
Yeah.
So you can't even come back to those people. So why would I lend you all? I mean, I'm just saying real world thoughts.
But what does that have to do with it?
Wait. Here's a real world thought for you. Trump. All right. So what happened with Trump just now? That's going to screw New York.
Oh, it already has.
And everything
Grant
commercial.
Cardone won't even go. He said,
No
pull
one's
all
gonna
my offers, pull everything out of New York.
Good.
Yeah. So
do it. Same thing.
Brett Cardone and all the boys
Mr. Wonderful.
are looking at
Patrick
this.
Bet David.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to let you say something.
Come
Go
Nevada,
ahead.
baby.
Go ahead. You're up.
No, I'm just saying Patrick Bet David.
Start.
all these
Wait,
other-
No, I know.
Start again. Brett Cardone. Go ahead.
Grant Cardone he sold all of his employees, pulled all of my offers, pulled any real estate out of New York City. We're not going to do business there. So same with Patrick Bret David, same with Mr. Wonderful from
Kevin.
the Shark Tank,
Kevin
right?
O'Leary.
Kevin Leary.
Kevin O'Leary. So you're going to see ramifications by your point from that.
Okay. Now going back. So here's the point, that it is nationwide, not just to do it. New York screwed because of what they did. But do you know how they did it? I'm going to tell you. It's fascinating. Watch this. You guys know Deutsche Bank, right? Deutsche Bank has been lending to Trump, and it's been a love and hate relationship for a long time,
Right.
20, 30 years. The problem is that in court, the judge was trying to get the executives of Deutsche Bank to admit that Trump overvalued his assets.
Right.
And the guys were like, no, we actually sent our own appraisers,
Right. Yeah,
guys.
we sent people
We
out.
sent people. Yeah, he put it what he thought it was worth, but we sent our own people to legitimize, and it was within a comfortable level.
Sure.
So we went ahead and did the loan. They found that very democratic liberal state, the court system found Trump to be guilty over something that every freaking developer in the nation is now guilty of.
Correct.
So everybody, including the bankers, are going to be scratching their heads trying to figure out how they're going to do the valuations of commercial property. And by the way, what is taking the massive dump right now in real estate? Isn't it commercial properties? Yeah. Why? Because of the fakedemic that you just mentioned and people going home to work.
Not wanting to go back.
All the people,
Right.
yeah. And then why are we having so many problems with inner cities, so many homelessness? Is because the people that actually went to work are not buying their Subway sandwich. They're not having their cars cleaned. They're not paying for parking. They're not going around the corner to buy themselves a blouse because they spilled coffee on it. So the whole economic structure of the downtowns in the nation are in major trouble because they decided to let everyone go home. And now they're calling them all back in, okay, because they realize that model is tired. It doesn't really work. So what's going to happen with the next transaction today that is being put together? This conversation is being had. How are we going to avoid liability? Their high-priced attorneys are going to come in happy as clams, right? Get in their little bow ties and say, well, that's a little bit more, don't you guys think? My hourly wage just went up a couple hundred because obviously my reputation on the line. The CPAs are coming in and say, well, you know, I'm going to have to charge a little bit more here, son. Oh, and the appraisers are now. Oh, remember it used to cost $100,000 for that appraisal? It's $300 now. Because who are they going to, my insurance just went up. Who do you think they're going to sue? And then on and on and on. And that liability bus is going to go all the way back. And people are going to look at this and they're going to say, this doesn't pencil. So what's going to happen with commercial? How is commercial even valued? Do you know that the average person doesn't understand how commercial is even valued?
I've been a realtor for 20 years and I don't understand how commercial's valued.
I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'll just tell you how it's valued. It's easy. The way it's valued is they look at the rent roll and they multiply the rent roll to come up with a value. Not hard. It's pretty dang easy. Okay. So what's going to happen now that the rents are down, people can't afford them because they're in major defaults. Right? Now you're going to have all these increased expenses because everyone's scared out of their mind. Commercial is going to be in big trouble. So they better unwind what they did with Trump, and they better do it soon, hopefully in the next administration when Trump actually wins. Yeah. But we'll have that conversation at a later date. All right.
The next time you guys come on, I want to like do it in real time. Like I want to invest something. Like you guys come up here. I want
that's a good idea, man.
Like, give me some advice, like, you know, Bitcoin, or like, hey,
we don't do financial advice on this show.
Hey, Eric, set your wallet.
We're just going to show them how
when Bitcoin goes down to this point, buy, and then when it
yeah, I can.
All that
I'll we could do that, or I could do a private session and just show you how to do it.
Well, I want to do that, but it's for them.
It's
for
not
them.
for me.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The people on this show that come on here, they're not really learning about how to do the basics.
You're probably right.
These people are coming on here and they just seeing that I'm so freaking handsome and they love the shine on his head.
But
and
you know what
say,
the number one titles are on YouTube?
What?
How to.
Yeah. That's true.
When you title something "how to," you get more views.
Or how about we just have what's his face, Stu, film us showing them.
Right.
his
We
office.
could do that. I mean, I don't.
We should do
how
that.
to,
We'll
how to
do a
show
how-to.
a beginner, how
Yeah.
to show a beginner how to invest.
How about
Let's
this?
do that. Talk to Sue. We'll come in your office and we'll.
To me, that's
Stu,
that's some great content.
Yeah.
I mean, not that this was. I mean, back and forth is always good.
No. I think it would be good. I mean, it's
Let's
something.
do a how-to on 2 basic levels. One, and basically how to buy on an exchange. But here's another one. This will be fun. Let's show people how to buy a house.
See,
live.
there you go. See now,
With
how to
Bitcoin.
buy a house
With
with Bitcoin.
How to buy a
See,
house.
that's
We'll
a
actually
great,
do that.
That's a great
Except
video.
we won't be able to close.
But how to,
Yeah.
how to, because then people they tune in like, wow, damn, I didn't know there was another Bitcoin. I didn't know I could set my phone to do that. What the hell? Like when you showed me that the other day, that blew me away because it was simple and you were running through it like it was common everyday crap. And I'm like, what am I missing?
All right, guys. Well,
all right,
it's
guys.
been
Yep.
great.
Thanks for having me on. I
Is
really
there
appreciate you guys.
Is there anything else you want to say?
I'm good, man.
Do I have to grow some sort of facial hair before next time I come on?
Well,
here?
you know what? I think he forgot.
You know what?
I have to step away from the razor.
I had it going from last week, and I said, you know what? I want to grow it out another week, and so I have a nice beard going for the next show, and here we are. So as soon as I get home, I will probably shave it. But
All right, Eric, thanks for being on the
Appreciate
show.
it, Eric, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. And
guys,
Bret,
bye.
you have any closing thoughts?
we be out.
All right, thanks for coming to Urban Legend Crypto. See you on the next one.
Peace out. All right, guys. Thank you so much.